The value of homes is rising across the country, which is also leading to potentially higher property tax rates.
Multiple fatalities and casualties at a shooting scene at a VTA light rail yard in San Jose. The details just ahead.
As more people get vaccinated and ditch masks, questions are raised about children too young to get the vaccine.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Home values in the 4 states are going up at a historic rate. This is KOAM News at 5. Interest rates are at around 3% for home loans, according to Business Insider, and they've been low for several months. That means that people are buying and homes are selling quickly, often for more than their asking price. A local realtor tells us that that's caused the value for homes to increase as well.
As of this morning when I pulled it, are on average up 13%. What that means obviously is, and I'm just going to look down here at my numbers, but we're up from 149,000 to 170,000 on average, right? So that's, so that's a $20,000, $21,000 increase. That's from last year.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear how the increase in home values could impact tax rates and what experts hope happens in the market next. Checking in with Doug Hetty. Nice to see the sun today. Pretty beautiful day out there, really.
Yeah, it's turned out to be a great day outside. Almost hot as well. We had the humidity, which is up there, and still plenty of sunshine. We got a lot of cumulus clouds out there, but in general, it looks pretty good across the entire 4-state area. Any showers, any thunderstorms are staying mainly to our west, and I think that's where they're going to stay. As we go through the evening hours for us tonight, you can see the tornado watch is out across central and western Kansas, severe thunderstorm watch out across parts of Nebraska. Some of these storms are going to try to get in here late tonight into tomorrow morning, but any evening plans you have look fine. As we go through the overnight hours, you can see some storms kind of skirting to our north near the Kansas City metro, and then we'll start to get some thunderstorms trying to build in by the time we head into the morning hours. Temperatures right now sitting into the lower 80s. As we drop back through the evening, we'll slide back into the 70s. Severe threat tomorrow. We're going to talk about that here in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Doug. The Fort Scott, Kansas Economic Development Director is suing the city, alleging discrimination based on her sex. Rachel Pruitt claims one of the city's commissioners treated her differently than her male counterparts by spreading false rumors, singling her out for criticism and threatening her job. In June of last year, Pruitt was charged with possession of marijuana and possession of paraphernalia, charges she claims are bogus. She was placed on unpaid leave for a short period. The day after she was charged, Pruitt filed a charge of discrimination with the Kansas Human Rights Commission based on sex discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. In the suit, Pruitt calls Commissioner Kevin Allen my primary harasser, accusing him of making false rumors of affairs and harassing her based on her sex. We reached out to the city, who had no comment, as well as Commissioner Allen and Pruitt's attorney, but they have not responded. You can find the full complaint on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter is resigning effective June 1st. In a release, Hunter says, quote, regrettably, certain personal matters that are becoming public will become a distraction for this office. The Office of Attorney General is one of the most important positions in state government. I cannot allow a personal issue to overshadow the vital work the attorney's agents and support staff do on behalf of Oklahomans, end quote. The statement did not describe the personal matters. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt says Hunter informed him of his resignation just this morning. 8 people plus the suspect are dead and several injured after a gunman opened fire at a transportation center in San Jose, California. Reporter Lynn Ramirez has the latest from San Jose.
911 calls started coming in just after 6:30 this morning, reporting an active shooter at the Valley Transportation Authority rail yard near downtown San Jose.
There are 8 victims that are pronounced deceased at this point, and there's 1 suspect that's pronounced deceased. There are VTA employees that are victims.
The suspect was a VTA employee. Deputies immediately swarmed the scene.
We received information that there are explosive devices that are located inside the building.
The FBI and ATF are assisting with the investigation.
It is a fairly sizable crime scene and is going to take a while to process.
We also heard from a recent briefing that there was a very heroic effort by law enforcement to go in and extract victims.
The deputy sheriffs from the sheriff's office, the officers from San Jose Police Department ran into the building while shots were being fired, and I know that it saved many lives.
VTA is a family. People in the organization know everyone. This is a terrible tragedy, and we will do everything we can to help people get through this.
The rail yard is next to the County Government Center, which also houses the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Department. Len Ramirez, CBS News, San Jose.
The VTA provides bus, light rail, and other transit services through Santa Clara County, the largest in the Bay Area and home to Silicon Valley. A 2-year investigation into the Trump Organization may be advancing into a new phase. First reported by the Washington Post, a source confirms to CBS News the Manhattan District Attorney's Office is convening a special grand jury to possibly consider criminal charges against top executives at former President Trump's company. In a statement, Mr. Trump called the investigation purely political and driven by highly partisan Democrat prosecutors. Former talk show host and veterans advocate Jon Stewart is back on Capitol Hill today to push for increased health care benefits for veterans exposed to toxins and burn pits in the battlefield. He joined lawmakers who introduced a new bill that would streamline the VA review process for veterans who have respiratory illnesses and cancers related to burn pits and airborne hazards. Still ahead, new CDC travel guidelines.
Travel is expected to ramp up this summer. I'm Elise Preston with a look at guidelines to keep you and your family safe.
And next in Health Watch, what recent CDC guidance about masks means for kids too young to get vaccinated. COVID-19 vaccines may not be as effective for patients taking a popular drug to treat rheumatoid arthritis and psoriasis. Researchers at NYU say about a third of patients taking methotrexate did not produce enough COVID-19 antibodies after getting the Pfizer vaccine. Doctors aren't sure why the immune response is lower, but say similar results are also seen for patients who take the flu vaccine. The latest mask guidance from the CDC has been a mixed bag for millions of families. People who are fully vaccinated can take off their masks in most places. But where does that leave children too young for the vaccine? Elise Preston explains.
How old are you?
2.5. Soon-to-be 3-year-old Dorothy is a little shy for the cameras, but her dad says she isn't shy about masking.
She actually yelled at us because I was putting my mask down on the train just now, and she's like, "Daddy, don't do that."
50% of American adults are fully vaccinated and taking off their masks, but the shots are not yet approved for children under 12, and parents worry unmasked crowds are putting their kids at risk.
It seems to be a lot of unknown information about little kids and how the virus impacts them. So, just as a parent, it's hard not to worry.
Nearly 4 million children in the U.S. have tested positive for COVID since the start of the pandemic. The American Academy of Pediatrics says severe illness is rare, but doctors don't know yet the longer-term effects.
Children, just like adults, could potentially also have the long COVID, and that is persistent symptoms beyond a few weeks.
CDC guidelines say kids should still wear masks and social distance indoors, like in restaurants and schools. And when it comes to traveling with unvaccinated children, short road trips are recommended. If flying, look for nonstop flights to minimize time in security lines and crowded terminals.
You just can't throw caution to the wind at this point.
Elizabeth Simmons is keeping a close eye on the vaccine trials for kids. For now, her 5 grandchildren will continue wearing masks in public.
For safety reasons, precaution, precaution, precaution.
Dorothy's parents are both fully vaccinated, but they're wearing their masks as a courtesy to others and to be good role models for their daughter. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Pfizer expects to ask the FDA for emergency use authorization for children ages 2 to 11 by the fall. That is a look at today's health news. Later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about allergy testing your dog.
Plus, showers and thunderstorms increasing for us on Thursday. We're going to look at that coming up next. It's definitely turned out to be a great day for us today. Temperature's fantastic, almost hot as we have gone into the mid 80s for afternoon highs. Humidity is kind of high, so it's one of the first days that we've had, I guess we'd say late spring, early summer-like humidity across the region. 84 in Parsons, Chanute, 82 in Miami, 83 in Pittsburgh. Neosho is sitting at 83 degrees. Looks good. Here's 7th and Rangeline off toward the north and to the west. You can see those cumulus clouds popping up, but we aren't going to have any thunderstorms, at least for us tonight. 83 south winds are light, humidity is at 63%. Through the evening hours, we slide back through the 80s, 70s. I think we only bottom out 68 to 70 degrees. So it's going to be a very mild overnight for us tonight. We look fine. Nothing is going on here. All the action's out across central Kansas. And then as you stretch up into parts of Nebraska, in the purple, these are tornado watches. This is a severe thunderstorm watch out across parts of Nebraska. And then these extend south and eventually will kind of build down into parts of Texas. These are working toward us. They're just really going to have a hard time holding together by the time they make it here. Does get interesting for us tomorrow. There's a lot of moving parts as we head into tomorrow morning. First off, let's go through tonight. We just kind of have the clouds. The thunderstorms out west really don't make it here. Here's 7:30 in the morning. Storms to our north kind of extend back right along the I-35 corridor. And then here's where it gets interesting. So here's about 10:30 in the morning. If these storms to our north can kind of fill in, we'll get some real strong storms late morning into early afternoon. This would be best case scenario, because if this happens, this will overwork the atmosphere and then we won't have the big storms late tomorrow afternoon. If that does not occur, which is kind of depicting on this model here, then everything just blows up once we get into the mid to late afternoon after 3 or 4 o'clock. So we got to really see what happens with those morning storms to figure out what's going to happen tomorrow afternoon. But if we go worst case scenario, these storms will really get going 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and we are going to have a pretty good severe threat. So this is on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Then we'll get showers and thunderstorms that continue to work through during the evening hours. And then here's 9 p.m., the main front kind of right back through southeastern Kansas. More will fire along that front and then kind of work through, and then everything just kind of calms down after about 11 p.m. tomorrow evening. Then we cool down, but Friday looks pretty good as we only go into lower 70s for highs. So as of right now, we got at least an elevated threat for severe weather. First 3-4 hours, we are going to have a tornado threat, so I'm going to elevate the tornado threat. Hail, wind, and rain, a high threat across the region. But again, we really want to kind of focus on what happens late tomorrow morning into the early afternoon to see if that will kind of deter the severe weather from forming late in the day. 82 tomorrow. Look at the holiday weekend, just fantastic. Kind of cool for Memorial Weekend. Highs only into low to mid 70s. Thunderstorm chances moving back in next week. My Memorial Day moved to Tuesday, but it should be on Monday. Just so people know.
All right. Highs in the 70s sound pretty good.
Yeah, it does, really.
Thanks, Jack. Coming up, federal officials outline new travel guidelines as people get set for summer vacations. First, though, we honor a local World War I veteran. Richard Ecker served in the U.S. Army in 1917 and 1918. The liberal Missouri native was stationed in France, and we salute Corporal Richard Ecker, a four-state hero. Celebrating the unofficial start of summer is going to cost a bit more this year if your plans include a road trip. The national average for the price of gas, just over $3 a gallon. The U.S. hasn't seen prices this high since 2014. It's also an increase of more than $1 per gallon from the week preceding Memorial Day last year. Of course, that was during the pandemic. At least some of the price increases left over from the cyber attack on the Colonial Pipeline earlier this month. While that supply pipe is back in full operation, some gas stores in the southeast aren't fully stocked yet. The global price of oil is also up significantly from last year. Oil futures closed at $63.58 at the close of trading on Friday. Now that COVID cases are dropping and more Americans are vaccinated, air travel is expected to soar this summer. Yesterday, federal officials outlined changes to keep everyone safe. Reporter Elise Preston has the latest from New York's LaGuardia Airport.
Airports are coming back to life.
It's good. It's good to be back. I mean, everyone's following protocols, which is awesome.
And federal officials are expecting even more passengers this summer.
Poised to support the traveling public as we embark on what is going to be an historic return to post-pandemic travel.
With big crowds expected, flyers are being urged to take steps to make the travel experience quicker and safer. They include enrolling in TSA PreCheck to avoid long lines, utilizing touchless technology, and simply allowing extra time at the airport.
While mask rules are starting to loosen in various places, that's not the case in our nation's airports and on flights.
It is a federal mandate that one must wear a mask in an airport, and we will not tolerate behavior that violates the law.
Most passengers we spoke to know the masks are a necessary part of air travel for now.
Do you feel a little safer that people have to wear masks in the airport?
Well, to be honest, I do, especially because there's a lot. We never know what's coming up next. So, it helps out with, feeling safe.
One challenge that still lies ahead is getting international travel fully back on track.
This is something that we are evaluating each and every day. And what we're going to do is we're going to follow the science and making the appropriate decision for the American public.
Travel experts expect some reopening of international routes this summer. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Our pet vet on call next. The CBS Evening News is next, then on KOAM News at 6. A 17-year-old girl who was pulled from a house fire on Monday in Lowell, Kansas, has died. Plus, authorities in Cherokee County are now offering a reward for information leading to the capture of 2 jail escapees. And we're going to hear more from an area realtor about the rising value of homes across the country. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. A lot of us deal with allergies, and it seems that problem isn't just limited to humans. Today's question for our pet vet on call: how can I determine specifically what my dog is allergic to?
By doing allergy testing, and there's a couple ways. One is a skin test where the allergen is actually injected intradermally, and then you watch for the wheal reaction of the skin. That's kind of subjective. You have to have an expert reading them because you need to know if that's a true allergic reaction or just a simple reaction. The other way, if you don't want your dog shaved and injected, is a blood test. There are a couple labs in the United States that do these. They test for the allergens in your area and send you a list of everything that he's allergic to. The great thing would be is if it's something that you can avoid, but many times it's not, and they mix up injections that you can give your dogs until they are completely desensitized, or at least the allergic reactions are much less severe.
Hey, we invite questions from anyone. If you have one, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question every Wednesday on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. Now, our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we've chosen a female Labrador Retriever Australian Shepherd mix named Carol. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, a 2-year-old male short-haired cat named Jingle. If you're looking for a pet, remember, you might as well check out your local Humane Society. They always have a lot of good ones. Checking back with Doug. The weather's pretty nice at the moment.
Yeah, it looks fine throughout the evening hours. We're going to slide back through the 80s, 70s, down to about 68 later on tonight. 82 tomorrow. We're going to get some late morning, early afternoon thunderstorms, and then at least the chances for severe thunderstorms late afternoon into the evening hours. Of course, we're going to have the latest on this at 6 and 10.
Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we will be right back here at 6. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.